You were hired here on April 7, 2024. We're sitting here on October 22nd, 2025. When did you feel like you were able to take a breath here with the Lady Vols?
I think I really felt like I could take a breath when everything ended last year, not at the end of season, but we had our big orange caravan. We finished recruiting and our players were gone home for the summer. And that is the day that my maternity leave started. And so I kind of felt like a little kid. You know how you get out of school for the summer?
Yeah.
And you're like so excited because you don't.
Summer vacation.
Yeah, summer vacation, and your day changes a little bit and you're on a new schedule, a new routine, and I could start my maternity leave. That's when I really felt like, you made it. Like, let's take a breath and then let's get better next year.
Going through the season last year, if we go back to the start of SEC play, just what's something you wish you would have been able to tell yourself? If you could stand right in front of yourself right now, middle of the season last year, what would you want yourself to know?
I think beginning of SEC play, and this is probably not the answer you thought you were going to get, but beginning of SEC play, I wish I would have told myself, this is the start of your season. So I always have these metrics of things that we are not very good at the start of the year, and because our non-conference schedule wasn't so strong, we didn't see those mistakes. So the fouls, the not getting back in transition, the poor shots, the turnovers, all of those things really bit us in SEC play. And having not known what I know now, I should have just said, hey, you really need to harp on these things going into SEC play because it's going to bite you if you don't. What
are some words to describe who you were going into year one, and then now going into year two? How different do you feel as a head coach here?
Yeah, I feel much more prepared, much more secure, much more comfortable. You just are living you can't even say every day, every moment. Every room you walk into, every person you meet, it's brand new. You're unsure. And it's just so nice to know people's names, to know your fans, to see people for a second time, and to have people on your team that know what you expect. It just makes everything run a little smoother.
Last year, taking that run to the Sweet 16, I'm sure you want more this year and going forward. What about this team has the makings of an Elite 8 team or even a Final Four team?
Yeah, we're still working on that. We're still trying to figure that out. We have days where we look like a Final Four team, and we have days where we look like a team that's going to lose in the round of 32. And we have to do a good job of being consistent, of putting days together that look like a Final Four team. And right now we're in the thick of it, right? Have been practicing for a really long time. We haven't really got to play anyone else yet. So just making sure that we stay focused, we remember what we're playing for.
You mentioned that maternity leave. I know Connor got to come to the last game of the season. Can we expect him at more Lady Vol games this year?
Yes, we can. He's been coming to practice. We've been working on it. When he first started coming to practice, he hated the horn. So every time that horn would go off, he would lose his mind. And so we have really been working on him coming and sitting through a practice and listening to the sounds, and he loves it. He loves coming. He'll watch. He loves to go to the ball rack. He'll crawl all over the floor once the players are out, and so it's good to see him and train him to get ready for what his life is about to be like for the next 5 months.
How soon do you want him sprinting with your team?
It's funny. He was out there, and I had sent a video of him and he was moving on the floor. I think there was so much space, and I was like, well, you already have him running sprints. I'm like, oh, I guess he just watched the girls do it so much he wanted to get out there and do it.
Yeah. What's it like to watch them interact with him day to day? Is it kind of you get to see a different side of them a little bit?
It's just always remarkable to me how much they love him, and he's here and they go up. I mean, even in the middle of practice sometime, a Coop will be over there talking to him like, Coop, can you pay attention? And then as soon as practice is over, they'll all go and say hi to him.
What do you think is the part about being a coach that's most translated into being a mom?
Yeah, that's hard. I think right now, because we're in this young phase, I think it's the temper tantrums. Like, hey, let's stop whining. That's what my son does. Like, hey, he doesn't get what he wants, he cries. Maybe we don't cry about it. Maybe we ask for it, like grown up. And so right now, those are the two things that go back and forth.
You mentioned before, Connor, it was just basketball on your mind. And, now you have this kind of relief where you get to, turn your brain off. Just how relieving has it been when you come home and you get to just, for a second, just take basketball off of your mind?
Yeah, it's great. You come home, and my husband's been doing this really cute thing. If he gets home before me, is he'll put him right in front of the door, and then Connor will just crawl right to me and smile and laugh, and that's probably the best part of my day. And then when he's at practice, it's nice because as soon as practice is over, no matter what we talked about in the huddle, our players can go say hi, and then he and I can play around here, and you can just have a minute.
You said before that your mom is the best mom in the world. What do you feel like you've learned from her as a mom as you've come into this new journey in life?
Yeah, I think that she's done a really good job of, one, telling me to enjoy it. And everyone that has kids tells me it goes quick, it goes quick, it goes quick. You don't really realize how quick it goes. And you just think that that's something people say, right? Of, oh, just a cliche. Like, no, it really does go quick. And to enjoy the moments. And, all right, hold him like this when he's little. And don't be mad when you have to get up in the night because for a really long time he's not going to want you to hold him anymore, and just all of these things.
Do you think a version of basketball may be one of his first words, you know, after mom and dad, maybe ball or basket, one of those?
It's cute. We'll give him a little ball and he'll pat it like he's dribbling. Who knows if he's putting that together or not, but
okay.
It's cute. Yeah.
Maybe a little future for him.
I know, and then the ball will go scooting and we'll be like, turn over, buddy, and then we'll be like, loose ball, dive on it. So like he's got no choice.
Do you feel like you have inspired any of your players? You know, you have a baby, you come back a week later. Have any of them mentioned to you that that's kind of an inspiration that, hey, I can do it all no matter what?
I don't think with the current players, because, you know, they don't have any concept of what that part of life is, but I have some players in the past that have had kids right around the time I had kids or are pregnant now, and those are conversations that we are having. And it's fun to be able to have those conversations with former players and send pictures of your babies back and forth, and we can't wait until they can meet. That's just a really cool stage of being a coach now, to be able to talk to them about that.
Let's talk about your 5 freshmen. That's a lot of freshmen to be on the team. Do you remember a time that you had 5 or more freshmen? When was the last time that you had that many in your program?
It's been a while. The last time I can remember was probably 2018. And that group of freshmen went on by the time they were seniors to win a national championship. It was a lot of freshmen, but I am having some, I would say, flashbacks in a sense of just freshman things. I mean, we went to a hotel the other day and, oh, this breakfast is nice. So they just appreciate it to where your older kids don't care. It just doesn't matter to them. And having your freshmen just appreciate things and look at things through a new lens, and you can see it through their eyes, is really special.
Does it change practice in terms of, you know, you have 5 freshmen, they don't know exactly how you run things, how the older group operates? Does it change, you know, how practice gets run at all when you have that many freshmen, or not really?
Not with these freshmen. Not with these freshmen. These freshmen will just go in like they're seniors. They have no fear, no care in the world. They'll get out there, they'll compete, they'll get out there and talk smack, they'll get out there and run every sprint. So I think that the freshmen that we have are raising the bar for our older players, which is probably not happening anywhere else in the country.
Any similarities between the freshmen that you had in 2018 and the class that you have right now as 5 freshmen? Any similarities you see between those two groups?
I do. I think that they have a big personality like that group that we had a long time ago. I think they have a hunger and a ball is life mentality of they just want to play basketball. They are not getting caught up in anything else. They're not getting caught up in about anything by themselves or about themselves or off the floor. They want to be in here. They want to hoop. They want to come in here and get shots up on their own. In the summer, they were the ones that were wanting to run open gym and that were in most of the open gym. We're taking the least amount of days off, and they were really raising the bar and making sure our older players realize, oh, a freshman's not going to take my spot, which they're coming for you, which is great for me to have that competitiveness in practice. And again, it's really rare to have 18-year-olds come in with that mindset.
What did you like the most about being able to develop a freshman class into a senior class when you had that big group prior?
Every time I get a transfer, I think, man, I wish I could have coached you longer. And I see little things that take time. They take time for you to figure out. And it's rare now to have people for 4 years, but I think the players that I do have for 4 years are the most successful. And those are the players that end up being your player of the years and that win the championships. And so I really hope that I can hang on to this freshman class, because I think by the time that they are seniors, they will be very decorated.
Do you feel like they kind of bounce off of each other, like they work really well within the class together?
Yeah, they do, and I think that it helps that they're in the dorms together, so they move around together, they're in classes together, they obviously eat together, and I think that helps when you have them like-minded people all together the majority of the day, and it's new, but it's not new for just one.
Yeah, when you were putting together the class that came in this year, is there something you were specifically looking for, or was it different for each and every person?
It was different for each and every person. I think that I recruit to my mindset, and that doesn't really happen intentionally, but that just happens by the players you end up signing, of players that really do have a I want the ball mentality, of I'm not scared of anything mentality, of I'm ready to come in and do this right away. You can't come here and be scared for multiple reasons. This is not necessarily right now, with me being new here or newer here, a safe choice. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what you do. You got to be ready to play right away.
Does what you look for in incoming freshmen differ from what you look for in transfers, or does that kind of stay the same?
That stays the same. It absolutely stays the same. We go after the best freshmen we can possibly get, and if we don't get them, then we go after the transfers in their spot. No separation. We want our freshmen to come in and play right away, just like a transfer would.
No matter if it's a freshman, a transfer, or someone who's been on the team, what's the biggest thing you want them to know about you? Not your style of play, but just you as a head coach.
Yeah, I think that it's really important that they know how high my standard is. And so I am not the type of coach that's going to applaud every little tiny thing. And the standard's going to be high. And once you reach a standard, then I'm not going to pat you on the back. I'm going to raise the standard. And I think the sooner players can figure that out and not say, oh, nothing's ever good enough for her. Once they can figure out that it's all coming from a place of making you better, and they see improvement, life gets a little easier.
What did it mean to you to have, the nation's top recruits, in the top 50 commit to you, some of them before they even saw you facilitate a game as a head coach here at Tennessee? Just how special was that? What did that mean?
Yeah, that means everything to me, that they believed in it. They weren't scared of it, that they really said, all right, I believe what she is selling, I want to help her do it. And then again, I think that that's something that we have to keep. You have to try to maintain that freshman class and then get another class right after them. And then you have a really strong group of young ones. I believe that we can win with young players. And there's a lot of coaches that don't, that think it's just transfer, transfer, transfer. I think having the players that you can coach the way you want them. You can give them the mindset that you want them to have, get them to do it for 4 years, then you have a winning recipe.
Do you feel like it's easier to instill that mindset when they come in as freshmen and you don't kind of have to break them, or does it not matter?
You don't have to unlearn as much. You don't have to unlearn as much when they come in when they're 18.
You mentioned the season may look a little bit different, maybe a little less threes, maybe a little bit more driving, kind of something you've mentioned a few times in the off season. Has that challenged you as a coach? I know you love to take it from beyond the arc.
Yeah, it's actually been very interesting with our scrimmages and the times we've gone up and down in practice and scrimmage against our guys. We have been launching threes. So I don't know if they saw the interview and said, oh, we have to fix this, or it's because we practice a lot of them, but our strength is getting to the rim, and we are not really getting to the rim right now. So I think we need to kind of overcorrect and put our head down and get to the rim a little more.
What's the balance between taking players outside of their comfort zone? I know Z wasn't too fond of taking threes last year, but then she takes nearly 90, 100 in the season, but also, giving them confidence in what they feel good about. What's the balance in that as a coach?
Yeah, it's a hard balance, because you want them to play to their strengths, but also you spend your whole entire summer of trying to push them into learning new things and getting better at new things and really getting them outside of a box so that they're a hard scout. So somebody can't just sit in the paint and say, I dare you to come in here. And so then we work on all summer, or we work on things you're bad at, and then right around this point in time, then we have to start doing the things you've gotten really good at.
One last thing, I noticed that you have a quote pinned on your X profile. I just wanted to ask you about it. Not everyone gets the opportunity to be stressed by the potential to achieve exceptional things. A quote from Tim Grover. You posted it in 2016. That was almost 9 years ago. Why does that quote still resonate so much with you?
Yeah, I pinned that quote, I think the day or the week, right around the time I first became a head coach. So I started becoming a head coach in 2016. And that is something that I always try to remind myself of how blessed am I, how much has God blessed me, that my biggest stresses in life are wins and losses. And I think when you can approach life like that every single day of, hey, I am worried, I am sick to death, I am nervous, I am stressed about coaching a basketball game. I'm not worried about a sick kid. I'm not worried about putting food on the table. I'm not worried about all of these other things. I am worried about wins and losses. That is a blessing. And when you can approach life like that, I think that it gives you the perspective that you need. And sometimes in this profession, you can really get wrapped up in it.
Is that something that you've shared with your team, you know, given them that mentality, or the quote that you've shared, or just kind of kept that for your own personal?
I just kind of kept it for my own self, honestly. I don't get on Twitter a lot for multiple reasons.
But you can scroll and see, you know, 2023.
Yeah, right. I am not on there. But I think it's one thing I kind of forgot that was on there, but it is something I try to remind myself. And then we always have moments where if we're volunteering at a children's hospital, if we do something over Christmas, anytime we do a community service event, we try to remind them, hey, how blessed are you? Your problems are not that bad. Your problems are a lot of blessings for other people. Let's try to keep that in perspective.
Do you feel like that can take some relief off of them? You know, when you're just focused on the wins and losses, you can be like, hey, it's not that bad. You know, don't stress. It's okay.
It's easier said than done. I think you can really get sucked into it, and sometimes you have to see something. You have to see somebody go through something, and this is the sad part of life, right? You really have to witness it. It really has to happen for it to really gut check you to be like, hey, you're living a very blessed life.
Has there been a gut check moment for you?
I mean, I've had multiple players who have parents pass away. I've had parents pass away. You have people who have family members get sick. You have people that come into practice every day with real stresses, and they're sitting next to somebody who's stressed out about they missed 2 shots in a row. And those stresses are not the same. And those are conversations, unfortunately, that probably come up every year, that's just what you have to, a teaching point of, she's actually going through something. You're mad because you missed 2 threes in a row.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.